Hey, this is Crystal Miller with another Tip Tuesday for you. Today I wanted to touch on 3 things that you do not want to do, or at least you want to try to avoid doing when you are coming up on the time frame of wanting to buy a home. So I feel like the feedback that I get from borrowers and my own personal feelings when it comes to buying a house and getting a home loan is the toughest part is usually the bank statements. The assets part of it is oftentimes kind of the most frustrating for people. And it's really frustrating if you weren't really preparing ahead of time to do your home loan. So we obviously have to show and source that you have the money to close the loan, whether it's your down payment, your closing costs, whatever it might be. We have to see that you've got that available. So you would bring us bank statements. And the 3 things that cause the biggest headaches for my borrowers is when, number 1, there's large deposits. So a large deposit is anything that is more than 1% of the purchase price or the loan amount on the file. So obviously your work deposits don't count. If it's from your employer, that'll be just fine. But if it's a deposit of money that was not from an employer, we have to source that. We have to know where it came from and make sure it was an eligible source. So oftentimes that's a headache. It's chasing around and getting a copy of a check or backtracking and trying to even remember where it came from. So large deposits is kind of a thing that you want to avoid. The second thing that you want to avoid is cash deposits. Cash is never, ever eligible, like 99% of the time. Shouldn't say never, but it's usually just not an eligible source of funds. So it's best to just completely avoid it. Even if you have it in there and we see that it's cash, we're going to subtract it out and pretend it doesn't exist. So you're not helping yourself by depositing any cash no matter where it came from. So avoid cash deposits. The third thing is transfers. Transfers become a really big headache for my borrowers lots of times because if you're transferring money into this account, then we have to see where it came from. So then you're going to go get us that account that the money came from, and we're going to do the same sort of review on that account as well. And if that account has got large deposits or cash deposits, then we have to source those too. So one thing leads to another, and sometimes it leads to a third account. So if you've got multiple accounts within your family and you're moving money around a lot, that becomes very frustrating sometimes for people to have to keep coming back and providing more and more accounts. So the 3 things that I could tell you that'll make things much easier is if within about the 60 days or so of when you're wanting to start seriously looking for a home, try your hardest to avoid large deposits that are not from your employer. Try not to be putting any cash in the bank, and try to keep your transfers at a minimal, if not even just completely don't do it for those 60 days or so prior to wanting to apply for a home loan. That will just make what you have to provide us much, much simpler, and several headaches will be saved on your side of the fence. So hopefully that's a helpful tip for you when it comes to assets and being prepared for getting your home loan and make it an enjoyable experience for you. So have a great day.